Hello, dear friends. Welcome back to our channel, the place where gentle stories guide you into a peaceful slumber. A good night's sleep is the key to relaxing your body and soul, helping you recharge for a new day. Our stories are told with soothing voice, woven with fascinating details to lead you into a tranquil world where you can unwind and drift into dreams. Tonight, we will embark on a journey to explore the fascinating mysteries of ants, tiny yet powerful creatures with complex societies and astonishing secrets of nature. Immerse yourself in the world of these tiny warriors, where cooperation and instinct create wonders. Grab a cozy blanket, relax your body, and let the story take you on a serene adventure. Wishing you a delightful storytelling evening and a restful night's sleep. When you think of a creature that dominates the earth, what comes to mind? If we consider sheer size, you might immediately think of the ocean and the largest animal ever to exist, the blue whale. Or, if you focus on strength and ferocity, you might imagine dense forests filled with fearsome big cats. More logically, you might think of humans ourselves, the most intelligent species, and one of the most widely distributed on the planet. If you walk on a sidewalk or lean against a tree, the first animal you're likely to encounter is a tiny creature, the ant. Their total population is estimated at around 10,000 trillion, and if you combine their total weight, it would roughly equal the total weight of all humans. In terms of biomass and ecological impact, these small creatures can be considered the most successful species to ever exist. Ants have colonized nearly every continent on Earth. Their presence is so profound that they influence the evolution of countless plant and animal species. They are both fiercely aggressive and cooperative, even altruistic. Ants live in colonies, displaying some of the most complex behaviors among insects, with their entire lives revolving around the collective. Their loyalty to the colony is absolute, and in serving it, they exhibit one of the most intricate social behavior systems in the animal kingdom, enabling them to almost completely dominate Earth's ecosystems. Moreover, recent studies suggest that the global ant population may exceed 20,000 trillion, far surpassing previous estimates, and they account for about 20% of the total terrestrial animal biomass, making them one of the most dominant groups of organisms on the planet. This dominance stems not only from their numbers, but also from their remarkable adaptability, thriving in environments ranging from arid deserts to humid rainforests, where they have developed unique survival strategies, such as building nests deep underground or high in treetops. How do ant societies function, and what makes their collective so successful? Is it merely the power of numbers, or is there something deeper? Although insects were among the first animals to conquer land, cooperative insect societies emerged relatively recently. The earliest insects appear around 400 million years ago, but ants came much later, about 100 million years ago. They coexisted with dinosaurs, and for a long time, they did not dominate their environments. Back then, giant dragonflies, cockroaches, and termites were the rulers. It wasn't until about 60 million years ago that ants became the dominant insects, and from then on, they flourished spectacularly. This explosion may be linked to the mass extinction event following the dinosaur era, when ecological niches were left vacant, allowing ants to spread and diversify. Ancient fossils show that ants began forming complex societies around 50 to 60 million years ago, with evidence of early division of labor. Furthermore, ants have adapted to countless environments, from a frigid Arctic to the scorching Sahara, where some species can withstand temperatures up to 50 degrees Celsius by rapidly moving across hot sand. Today, there are approximately 16,000 different ant species found on every continent except Antarctica. Their competitive advantage, which has made them a globally dominant group, lies in their highly developed colony life and specialized social structure. Ant societies are divided into two castes, the non-reproductive worker caste and the reproductive royal caste. The queen is the only female in the colony capable of reproduction, and the entire colony exists to serve her. In some species, such as the South American fire ants, the social structure is even more complex, with multiple queens in a single colony, accelerating territorial expansion and enhancing resilience against disasters. This allows supercolonies to spread across square kilometers, with millions of individuals functioning as a vast network. The birth of an ant colony begins with the birth of a queen. The queen's life starts when her mother lays a special type of egg, distinct from the millions of ordinary worker eggs laid throughout a queen's life. These special eggs are produced only when the colony reaches a certain size, and when they hatch, they develop into ants larger than typical workers and equipped with wings. These are the reproductive males and young queens. During the nuptial flight, these winged ants take to the air to mate. Afterward, the males die, while the females land, break off their wings, and begin searching for a place to dig a new nest. Only a small fraction survive this journey, with most falling prey to predators before establishing a new colony. Only about 1 in 500 queens has a chance of success. But those that succeed become the sole egg-laying queen of the new colony. This process, known as the nuptial flight, often occurs synchronously in large colonies, creating massive clouds of flying ants that attract birds and other predators. Some queens can store sperm from a single mating event to lay eggs for their entire lives, which can last up to 30 years in certain species. Throughout her lifetime, a queen ant can lay up to 300 million eggs, depending on the species, with the vast majority hatching into workers. These female ants live solely to care for the queen and her reproductive activities. At any given time, there may be millions of worker ants maintaining the colony. A colony can contain various types of workers with different sizes. Some care for larvae, others dig tunnels, some build remarkable structures, forage for food, or engage in wars with neighboring colonies. Remarkably, it is the workers themselves who determine the fate of the larvae, choosing which ones will develop into specific worker types, primarily based on diet. Larvae fed more insects tend to grow into larger individuals. In leaf-cutting ants, the polymorphism among workers is particularly pronounced. The largest workers, called soldiers, protect the colony, while medium-sized ones collect leaves, dig tunnels, or clear debris. The smallest ones nurture larvae and tend to the fungus, the colony's sole food source. The workers operate in such synchronized rhythmic harmony that it may seem chaotic to us, but in reality, it is based on an incredibly complex communication system, a chemical and physical language invisible to humans, but binding the entire ant society together. Leaf-cutting ants are not only farmers, but also biological engineers, cultivating fungus by breaking down leaves into a substrate, and even using bacteria to produce antibiotics that protect their fungal gardens from mold. This system has existed for millions of years, proving that ants were among the first farmers on Earth. Another fascinating aspect is the role of ants in seed dispersal. Many ant species collect seeds as food, but some uneaten seeds germinate within the nest, aiding plant dispersal. This creates a symbiotic relationship with over 11,000 plant species, significantly impacting the biodiversity of tropical rainforests. Ants also improve soil quality by digging tunnels, increasing aeration and nutrient availability, contributing to the global nutrient cycle. For many years, scientists knew that ants must have a way to communicate or organize such complex societies. But since ants have poor vision and hearing, their communication method had to be entirely different from that of humans. This was a mystery for years until the leading myrmecologist E.O. Wilson began decoding the language of ants in the 1960s. He started with the question, how do ants inform their colony mates about the location of a new food source? He noticed that ants often tapped their abdomens on the ground while moving and suspected they were leaving a chemical trail. Patiently, he crushed each organ of a fire ant with a sharp stick, then smeared the extract on the paper in front of other ants to observe their reactions. When testing most organs, the ants showed no interest, but they discovered a previously unstudied gland, the Dufour's gland. When he crushed this gland and applied it to paper, the ants immediately became frenzied, following the trail instantly. Over time, scientists discovered that ants use over 20 different types of pheromones to communicate. By combining various signals, ants have created an extraordinarily complex pheromone language. African driver ants possess the most advanced pheromone communication system ever studied in animals. Some of their thoughts can be expressed by leaving pheromones on the ground, combined with physical gestures. When a worker ant wants to say, "Follow me, I've found food," it leaves a trail from its anal gland while running from a food source back to the nest. When it meets other workers, it shakes its head and touches their antennae. Or, to warn of an enemy, it draws short pheromone circles around the intruder using secretions from the sternal gland. Other signals are transmitted through the air. When an African driver ant encounters an enemy in its territory, it releases a mixture of 4 chemicals, not only conveying a message, but also triggering responses from all nearby workers. The first chemical alerts other ants to be vigilant. The second signals them to seek trouble. The third calls them to approach and bite anything in their path. And the final compound urges them to attack ferociously. Scientists believe this combination of signals is akin to the syntax of human language. Recent research shows that ants also use vibrations and sounds to complement pheromones, such as stridulation, producing sounds by rubbing body parts together to warn or coordinate attacks. In some species, pheromones can persist for hours or even days, creating long-lasting scent maps for the colony. One of the main reasons for ants' global success is their ability to communicate. Much like humans, thanks to communication, ants have an extraordinary capacity for cooperation. Among ant species, weaver ants are one of the most impressive. They dominate forests in Africa and Australia, largely due to their complex and efficient chemical communication system. But even more remarkable is what they achieve through this communication. Weaver ants do not live on or in the ground, but in trees. To protect their large populations, they construct homes by weaving branches and leaves into intricate structures with roofs, walls, and floors. Weaver ants are also renowned for their ability to farm aphids for honeydew, protecting aphids from predators in exchange for sugary secretions, resembling a miniature agricultural system. Their colonies can house hundreds of thousands of individuals, and they use pheromones to assign tasks with precision. The process begins when an ant finds a soft, pliable leaf. It pulls the leaf's edge to test if it can be rolled. If partially successful, other workers are attracted and join in pulling the leaf. As the leaf bends further, more workers come to assist. They form neat rows, gripping the leaf's edge and pulling it toward another leaf. If the gap is too wide for a single row to bridge, they perform an astonishing acrobatic feat. They hook their bodies together to form a living bridge. Workers climb down the bodies of others until the chain, sometimes up to 10 ants long, reaches the opposite leaf edge. Once the edges meet, the workers move into position to bind them. But what looks like glue in the finished structure is even more remarkable. When the leaf is bent and ready to be sealed, workers carry larvae nearing pupation and use their silk to stitch the leaf edges. Holding the larvae in their mouths, they move back and forth, using the young as glue guns. The larvae seem unperturbed, producing thousands of silk threads as they are moved across the leaf edges. This silk forms a highly durable adhesive layer. These structures demonstrate the ant's extraordinary ability to organize labor. When millions of individuals combine their efforts to create something far greater, it's easy to assume their efficiency stems solely from numerical strength and coordinated communication. However, this doesn't fully explain their behaviors and successes. There's a deeper unifying factor in the ant world. The level of cooperation among individuals is so profound that it has led scientists to rethink the concept of individuality. A prime example is the African army ants, where millions migrate as a unified force, preying on everything in their path and using pheromones to maintain formation, engaging in large-scale wars with other colonies. They can eliminate thousands of insects daily, contributing to population control within ecosystems. The strength of the collective is clear. The more ants work together, the faster they find food, build impressive structures, and defend more effectively. Living in groups is common in nature. Birds flock together, and bison live in herds, which also increases their lifespan. But in such cooperative groups, individuals still prioritize their own interests, not just the collective. This is not true for ants. Worker ants die young and rarely reproduce. Their existence is one of sacrifice with no personal gain. Some ant species have mortality rates as high as 6% per hour when outside the nest, fighting neighboring colonies. On average, a foraging ant lives only about a week, yet in that time, it collects food up to 20 times its body weight to feed the colony. Everything is for the collective and, ultimately, for the queen. Their absolute loyalty and sacrifice are most evident when the queen dies. Typically, one might expect workers to produce a new queen to replace her, but that's not the case. In most instances, the colony does not create a successor queen and will decline until the last worker dies. They simply do nothing until no one remains. This level of altruism and sacrifice is rare in the animal kingdom, prompting scientists to reconsider the concept of individuality. In rare cases, such as with some European ant species, colonies may merge with another to survive, but in most cases, the queen's death marks the end, emphasizing the superorganism concept where the colony is a true living entity. If ants within a colony do not compete, if they are tightly bound by communication and division of labor, and if they cannot survive long outside the colony, does the concept of individuality still exist? The idea of a superorganism has been debated for decades. For ants, it suggests that the entire colony is a single organism, with the queen as the reproductive organ, the workers as the brain, heart, and stomach. The exchange of food among workers is akin to blood circulation. The most advanced ant societies, such as weaver ants, driver ants, and leaf-cutting ants, belong to this group, where workers do not compete or reproduce outside the royal caste. The superorganism concept, strongly supported by Yo Wilson, describes the ant colony as a living factory, where parts function in harmony. A 2015 study confirmed that ant colonies can learn and adapt as a single entity. This has inspired computer algorithms like ant colony optimization, used in logistics and AI. The ability to organize as a superorganism has led scientists to re-examine evolutionary theory. In the 1960s and 1970s, the prevailing view of evolution, popularized by Richard Dawkins' book The Selfish Gene, centered on genes. According to this view, the closer two individuals are genetically, the more logical it is for them to act altruistically toward each other. Group altruism, in this sense, stems from the competitive desire of individuals to ensure the survival of relatives carrying shared genes. However, some ant researchers, like Yo Wilson, believe this wasn't the whole story. The instincts of highly social species, like ants, go beyond protecting close kin. The group itself must play a role in evolution, regardless of whether its members are genetically related. This idea led to the theory of multilevel selection or group selection, where natural selection operates not only at the individual level, but also at the group level. The way ant societies function, both in daily life and evolution, has long fascinated humans. They spark lively debates among leading scientists and remain a focal point of curiosity for every child peering at the grass in their backyard. Their world operates in ways that the human brain struggles to comprehend, with scientific signals drawn on the ground and instincts driving them to daring actions. Yet, their social nature, cooperation, and complexity mirror aspects of human society. Group selection theory remains controversial, but recent mathematical models support it, showing that more successful ant colonies propagate better genes, even when individuals sacrifice themselves. Compared to humans, ants form complex social networks, where information spreads rapidly via pheromones, akin to the internet. The study of ants continues to provide answers about the nature of evolution and indirectly helps us understand our society and individuality. Exploring the animal world offers profound insights into our own and takes scientists on intellectual and physical journeys. Some ant studies occur in the field, in humid tropical forests or the cold regions of northern Finland. Others take place in laboratories with sophisticated equipment designed to study chemical signals or aggression between ant colonies, seeking answers about cooperation, evolution, and how they build resilient societies. Modern studies use technologies like GPS tracking on ants or genetic analysis to explore how they adapt to climate change. For instance, how tropical ants are migrating to higher elevations to escape heat. Additionally, ants are studied for developing new antibiotics from the chemicals they produce. Ants also play a significant role in natural pest control, such as predatory ant species in Asia that reduce crop-damaging insect populations, providing economic benefits worth billions of dollars annually to agriculture. However, some invasive species like fire ants cause harm, disrupting native ecosystems and damaging human interests. This balance underscores the need to preserve ant species diversity. In human culture, ants are often seen as symbols of diligence and unity, appearing in fables like Aesop's The Ant and the Grasshopper, teaching lessons about hard work. Today, ants inspire films and games, such as Marvel's Ant-Man, exploring their microscopic world. Recent genetic research reveals that ants have complex genomes, with some species possessing over 16,000 genes, enabling sophisticated social behaviors. Genetic mutations can lead to changes in division of labor, offering deeper insights into how evolution shapes societies. This opens potential applications in synthetic biology. Finally, compared to other social insects like bees and termites, ants stand out for their greater flexibility, as they can switch roles based on colony needs, unlike the more fixed roles in bees. This contributes to their global dominance, making ants an ideal model for studying animal sociology. One enduring mystery revolves around the so-called headhunting ants, such as Formica archboldi in Florida, which decorate their nests with the heads of other ant species. Discovered in the 1950s, scientists long puzzled over why these ants collect and display these macabre trophies, with recent studies suggesting it may be a form of chemical camouflage or a remnant of predatory behavior, but the exact purpose remains debated. Another intriguing enigma is the protective fungal cocoon that covers ant pupae in some species. Researchers initially observed this mycelial layer in 2012 and speculated it shielded young ants from infections, but it took years to confirm that the fungus acts as a natural barrier against pathogens, highlighting how ants harness symbiotic relationships in ways still not fully understood. The genetic differences between male and female mound-building red, with ants present a baffling puzzle. In these species, random genetic variations between sexes defy expectations of sexual reproduction, leading scientists to investigate possible hybrid origins or unique reproductive strategies. Yet the full explanation continues to elude experts despite ongoing genomic studies. Ants' underground cities hide incredible secrets of engineering, as revealed by Caltech researchers who uncovered how ants build stable, complex tunnels without blueprints. Using advanced imaging, they found that ants intuitively follow physical rules to create load-bearing structures, but the precise sensory mechanisms guiding this instinctive architecture remain a mystery. A lesser-known secret is ants' habit of breaking grains and seeds into pieces before storing them, which scientists believe prevents germination inside the nest. But the evolutionary trigger for this behavior and how it's universally adopted across species without direct teaching continues to intrigue biologists. The vast diversity of ants, with over 16,000 known species and estimates suggesting thousands more undiscovered, poses a mystery in itself. Entomologists like Corey Morrow emphasize that most people underestimate this variety, thinking only of black or red ants, while hidden species in remote habitats may hold keys to new ecological insights or even medical breakthroughs. Finally, tales of mysterious ants like the tentatively named Ant number 555 captured public imagination when hobbyists and scientists alike thought they had discovered a new species in the backyard, only to identify it as Merino plus bicolor. Such incidents highlight how even common ants can spark scientific history, reminding us that many backyard mysteries await discovery. The exploration of ants not only reveals biological secrets, but also helps humanity reflect on the fundamental principles of existence and evolution. Thank you for following along. If you'd like to see more new content, please click the subscribe button to watch exciting videos. In conclusion, remember that ants are not just tiny insects, but a source of inspiration for science, from robotics to medicine, proving that their mysteries still hold much to explore in the future. And so, our journey exploring the fascinating mysteries of ants comes to a close for tonight. We hope this story about these tiny yet extraordinary creatures has brought you a sense of calm, gently guiding you closer to a peaceful slumber. Let the images of intricate ant societies, living bridges, and miniature fungal gardens linger in your mind, lulling you into beautiful dreams. Thank you for joining us on this channel. If you enjoyed tonight's story, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss our next storytelling sessions. Wishing you a restful night's sleep, filled with energy for a new day. Sleep well, and we'll see you in the next story.